Job Sikhala has been released on about $600 bail by a South African court nearly a week ago after his arrest on allegations of transporting explosives. Police say 26 blasting cartridges and 15 capped fuse connectors were found in his vehicle. Supporters welcomed Sikhala outside the courthouse, turning his release into a show of solidarity amid ongoing legal proceedings. He joins us now to talk about his arrest and what happens next. A very good evening to you, Mr. Sikhala, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Let's just first start with, can you just walk us through, what happened, the events that led up to your arrest, and how did that occur?
No, it just happened that we have been invited at Roslyn Shopping Center in Pretoria West by one of the Zimbabweans whom I happened to know, who is called Nigel Swanda or Shumba. To come and have a chat at that place. When we arrived there, we were later joined by one of the persons whom he introduced to us as Tinashe Mpofu, whom he called his young brother. So after having had tea and also having some few conversations between among ourselves, Nigel then asked for the power bank for his phone. He said that he has forgotten his phone, his power bank for his phone at home. My uncle told him that he should ask the waiters for them to charge his phone so that when it has picked up some battery, he will be able to use it. He then said that no, he has some very important messages that he wants to receive from his phone, so he needs the power bank to be with him. He asked me whether I have a power bank or not. Then I said no, I've left it in the car, and I can go and take it and then bring it to you. So when we had to go to the car, that did not belong to myself. It belonged to my uncle, Mr. Alexander Tema. He wanted to give me the keys to go and take the power bank from the car, but it later did not happen that way because the friend to Nigel Shumba, this other guy called whom we were told that he is Tinashe Mpofu, asked Malume to give him the keys because he would not allow people of my stature, as a prominent politician in Zimbabwe and also a leader, for me to go to the motor vehicle as it was raining. That he must, because of his respect for the age of my uncle and also myself as a political leader in Zimbabwe, he would not allow us to go to the motor vehicle while it was raining. So it was better that we give the keys to him to go and collect the power bank.
Okay, so
I then told him,
I'm sorry to rush you along, but I do want us to get to some sort of conclusion. So after how long after this exchange happened did the police approach you? Did it happen at that time? And did you have any suspicions, any anxiety about how the situation unfolded? You don't know this guy. Do you have cause to trust him with your uncle's possessions?
No, we had no any suspicions on the basis that we thought that as people who because we knew Nigel Shumba from the past, we thought that it was a genuine friendship, unbeknown to us that he was on a mission. He is somebody who has been on deployment against myself for a long time. There are so many things that we later gathered through our intelligence gathering that he has been on a mission for a long time, and he has been working on it with the system back home, and it has been also confirmed by some of the people who have been investigating this case.
What is a long time, and what is that mission, to your understanding and from the intelligence that you say you've gathered?
Yeah, it has been quite for some time because I happened to know him the period when I came to South Africa to launch my book on the 30th of August. We interacted. You then asked us he asked me via the author of my book, Munyarat Savano, to accommodate me at the hotel where Munyarat was supposed to stay. But myself, I didn't know him. I happened to have been introduced to him by Munyaradzi and his friend who was called Sam, for me to have happened to know him. So since then, up to present, we have been talking, and we thought maybe we have built up some form of friendship. Unbeknown to me is that he has been somebody deployed to really snitch me and at the end of the day deliver some certain things on me.
So, to be
Like
certain, when you say somebody deployed by the system back home, are you referring to the government? Are you referring to state
yeah,
security as a law
yes,
enforcement?
definitely, yeah, definitely by the Harare for planting those explosive in those explosives as soon as the police officers stopped us along the road from Pretoria to Johannesburg. They immediately just rushed where they were placed to show that this was a pre-planned thing, and they immediately declared that the explosives were made from Zimbabwe.
Okay,
So
I'm
I
going
would
to
have
need you to
wondered, okay,
repeat. I'm going to need you, Mr. Sikhala, to firstly just stay in the spot that you are at, because you got to cut off completely when answering the question to clarify who do you believe is behind the planting of these explosives against you, if that is the case. And if you could also just go back to your justification of saying it's because there was a quick arrival of the police. I want to understand at which point were you caught with these explosives, these 26 blasting cartridges and 15 connector caps?
it was when we have been after we have left Pretoria on our way now to Johannesburg, going back to our house in Midrand. That's where the police arrived, and as quickly as they arrived, they sirened, and then blue lighted us and asked us to stop. The moment we stopped, they quickly rushed to the passenger seat of the motor vehicle and said that we have been tipped by somebody that there are dangerous weapons in this in this motor vehicle. May you please stop? And then we stopped. We came out. We laughed because I knew that my uncle always every morning he washes his car, he looks after it, and he picks his school children around the midday and so forth. And there was absolutely nothing like that in his motor vehicle. So when we just came out of the motor vehicle after they produced the guns and also asked us to raise up our hands, we came out of the motor vehicle. They quickly said, they quickly rushed to the passenger seat and then said, and then took out the paper bags that were under the passenger seat and said, "What is this? What is this? These are explosives. These are explosives." And they said, "These explosives are made from Zimbabwe. They are made from Zimbabwe. These are the explosives that are made in Zimbabwe." So what would have surprised, and something that must surprise all of us, is that myself, when I came to South Africa, I came via Botswana. I was invited to address the Botswana Patriotic Front Congress in Feroe. Before I came to South Africa, I flew to Botswana. I flew from Botswana to South Africa via Oliver Tambo International Airport. So, for you to try and play the kind of cheap debt niche which they performed, honestly speaking, it demonstrated that it was not a well planned job for them to execute
And
against
when
me.
you say they, because as I mentioned, you got cut when you were saying who is behind that. So who is, to your mind, behind your persecution, and what would it
No,
achieve? Is it you as
no, no. No, the people who are responsible for my persecution is clearly the regime in Harare through their intelligence operatives. So the intelligence system of Zimbabwe is the one that was on operation to make sure that the first thing that you have to know is that these guys, what I later gathered is that these explosives could have exploded at any time from under my seat, and I could have just been blown into pieces together with my angle. So the first thing is that they wanted to assassinate me. That was purely an assassination which they wanted to carry out against me. Then secondly, a failure of which it happened that it didn't happen was for them to have tipped the police officers of South Africa for them to find us with explosions, knowing very well that the issue of criminality in South Africa being carried out by several criminals, blowing banks and also ATMs in South Africa is a huge issue. So they thought that I was going to be arrested and got into prison, and then during the period of my incarceration in prison, they will be able to do what they want and not having any opposition in as far as fighting against Mnangagwa's intention to extend this term of office to 2030 is concerned. They don't want anyone to oppose it, and anybody who is seen to be organizing around the issues of resisting the prolongation of Emmerson Mnangagwa's term of office is in trouble in our country. This is a reality. The struggle of the people of Zimbabwe is real, and these are some of the trials and tribulations that we come across, and there is no doubt. And for everyone must know that this has been carried out by
Mr. Sikhala. We are running out of time, and I need to ask you this. In brief, what is your next move?
My next move is for us to make sure that this matter is cleared by the courts of law. We are anxiously waiting for the day of the trial. We have been admitted to bail. We will follow the needs for us to present ourselves to the processes of the courts of law, and after the completion of the trial, then we will see the verdict after that. But we will continue and intensify our campaign against the entrenchment of dictatorship in Zimbabwe.
Right.
We will not stop. No one will be able to solve our own problems. It is incumbent upon us as citizens of Zimbabwe for us to solve the political challenges that we are facing. So we'll proceed
there, Mr. Sikhala.
Fighting against 2030.
Mr. Sikhala, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, we do appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. Job Sikhala, leader of the National Democratic Working Group in Zimbabwe, speaking to us about his recent arrest here.
Thank you very much.
He's being released from court, and what he says are trumped-up charges, which he says would have ultimately have led to the objective of assassinating him, given the explosives that were found in his vehicle. That brings the time to just about 20 minutes past 9.